guys, Gary here. Thanks for watching. So today we have part 2 of my EDC series. And part 2 is going to focus on lights. And you should carry one. Like, I don't know if I should even have to tell you that you should have a light on you. But I'll tell you what I look for in a light. And then some of the ones that I ended up going with. So my thought is that everybody should be carrying 2 lights. One for as their fighting light, something that they would use in conjunction most likely with a handgun to save themselves, and a utility light for doing all the things like looking for your car keys in the bottom of your purse, or you know, the fucking Skittles in your cargo pocket, whatever it is people use a light for most of the time. So we'll divvy that up into 2 separate sections. And there was years ago, like almost everyone I knew used to carry the old, you know, mini mag, and because it's a cool looking light, like even this blue one that's my wife owns, but they weren't the most reliable. They didn't last real long, and they weren't very bright. But the machined aluminum does look pretty cool, and but for the most part, I don't even know why people keep those things anymore. And when the other mag lights that are offered, there's like this littler size thing. This little guy right here actually is probably the most useful product I think they make, because as a utility light it actually works fine for finding your keys and shit, and it ain't real big. Personally, the only mag light that I carry though is I carry this one in the appendix position, you know, just to fool the ladies. But no, seriously, when I look for a light to carry every day, I'm looking for something, my fighting light, the things I want on it, it has to be long enough that if I close my fist, it sticks out both ends. One, so I can put my thumb on it, so it's got to have a thumb cap, and then enough to stick out the other end so that it's not completely obscured by my hand when I grab it. I use a couple different flashlight techniques, you know, whatever one happens to fit the situation, but it's generally held like so. Like so. Oh, wait, glow stick, that's probably a shitty EDC light. I want it to be made out of aluminum because it's going to be very robust, and I can hit a dude with it and it hurts. I probably hit him with a plastic one too and it hurts, but I'm a big fan of machined aluminum. It needs to be as bright as the fucking sun. Like when people say, how many lumens does it need? All of them. I'm okay with that. If it's so bright that it burns a hole in the bad guy, I'm fine with that too. And I prefer it have one mode, on and off, and it doesn't click on the switch. Like that's the big things. And I want it to be the same diameter or pretty close to the same diameter from front to back. So like if we look at this surefire, or it's not surefire, I don't buy anything surefire, Streamlight Pro Tac HL3, like it's bright, it meets all that criteria that I want. I can hit a dude with it, but the fucking head is gymongulous. It's like a giant blockhead, and that's not great for carrying it. So it's never going to come out of my pocket well with this giant bulge. It might not even fit in my pocket. So I just discount something like that. That actually is just a light that I keep laying around the house. Even when we get to something that's a little more conveniently sized, like this Streamlight, what is this, the Pro Tac HL, it's still got this fucking big ass head on it, and the head doesn't need to be any larger than the body of the light. If it is, it's designed as a light that goes in a pouch, not a light that goes in a pocket. I don't care if it comes with a clip or not. So for a few years I carried a surefire, the $30 G2s. I thought they were awesome, but not so much anymore. They're like 60 lumens or something like that. I have keychain lights that are brighter than that. So I had settled on, for the longest time, this Streamlight Pro Tac 2L. Like, take a look at that thing. It's skinny top to bottom. It doesn't get fat at the head. It's long enough to stick out my hand. I have modified the switch so that it doesn't click. My good friend Sean showed me that, and I think he got it from the MF Armor who was doing it to surefires. we just adapted it to stream lights. Well, Sean did, and then I just took the idea and ran with it, so I didn't have to keep sending him the lights. And this thing has worked well for me for many years. Recently, I was introduced to Zulu Fox lights, and I've got 2 of them here, and they fit the bill fucking awesome. So I've befriended the owner, Trevor, and I paid for the light. Like that's how much I liked it. I paid. He didn't send me one. I just you know, our first interaction was him saying, "Hey, if you're interested in the light, I make one that you might be that has the features you want." So this particular light right here has become my fighting light for every day. The clip that comes with it, I wasn't a big fan of. There's one on this one right here. And so I took one off of a stream light and had to modify it a little bit, but it's way up at the end, so the light sits all the way down in my pocket. Like there's the top of my pocket, that's how much sticks out. I like that. I don't like a bunch of light sticking up out of the pocket. It's got a spot for a shock cord lanyard on it. I like the shock cord lanyard because you can wrap it around your hand, and now it's almost a hands-free light, and I can still reach up, hit the button that does not click. He sells it with a clicky or a non-clicky. I don't know why any of you weirdos would buy the clicky. And the head is the same size as the body. So this is my new EDC light. It's the one I tell people they should take a look at. He designs this to run off of 123s or the, what is it, 18650. I got a little cheat sheet here with the numbers on it. I'll grab it and edit it in. I'm back. So 550 lumens for 2 hours is what that guy's given, which is an improvement over my old Streamlight 2L, which was 3 hours, but it was 350 lumens, which I still think is plenty bright enough. I mean, it'd be great if it was, you know, a lightsaber, but fact is it's not. So the Zulu Fox EDC light, they're 550 for a couple hours. That's perfect. Personally, I tell folks, if you go train with your fighting light, do some low light training, whether it be a class or practice that you do on your own. Every time you've used it, take those batteries out, put them in something else, and put a fresh battery in it. So for those of you who that's a financial hardship to do, the 18650 is the way to go with that, and his lights run well off of both of them. Personally, everything I've ever owned with rechargeable batteries is always dead when I want it to be. In fact, I was filming this video yesterday when my camera battery died. But that's, I guess, what happens when you use a still camera for video, because I still don't own a video camera. So in addition to your fighting light, you should have some type of utility light. And your utility light doesn't need to be as robust, most likely. It doesn't need to be as big. And it sure shit doesn't need to be as bright, because I promise if you have 1,000 lumens on your flashlight when you're trying to put the key in the keyhole, you'll blind yourself with the reflection off the doorknob. So something lower powered, smaller, certainly way to go for an EDC light. And what I've been using is a Streamlight Micro Stream. And I don't know, they're pretty inexpensive. And this one is actually new. I had one that I've been running for, probably a decade. And it came with 2 rubber caps. Like there was extra one in the package. I don't know if they just know I'm hard on shit or it was an accidental oversight. But I had worn the rubber through with so many clicks. So I replaced it and wore the rubber through the second one. And eventually, I think the light got wet because the rubber had been worn off and it stopped working. And I was like, man, you know, like fucking 10 years in, the light isn't working anymore. So I shot them an email. They gave me a return number. I sent them the old one, and they sent me a new one. The only problem is this one still looks new. The other one, like all the anodizing had worn off and had character. But this little guy is like 45 lumens of light for a couple of hours off a AAA battery. So this is the one that I use all the time to look for stuff. In fact, this morning my wife used this to get a better look at my foot when she yanked a splinter out of it. So that's what I would call the ideal utility light. And any light roughly that size is going to work. I just went with a reputable company, and Streamlight's always been provided good lights for me. I don't know anybody that has had bad experiences with them, and they're a local Pennsylvania company. PA leads the way. In addition, I know folks that have like these little clip-on lights. They stick them around places to use for utility lights. I have this little Streamlight guy here. I don't even know what the hell it's called. Nano light. A bunch of my jackets have these on the zipper, so when I zip it up, I got a tiny little flashlight there with me. The thing I'm going to tell you is this is probably not ideal for a flashlight. Sure, it's with you all the time, but this to me is emergency communication device. Like, this thing here is what I use to get people to come help me in an emergency. Killing the battery with a flashlight or any other stuff isn't ideal. Like, I don't use the GPS on this. I use the GPS in my car because I want this to be as full of battery to call people as possible. So I completely separate utility light. So as it stands right now, this is what I'm running: Zulu Fox EDC and the Streamlight Micro Stream together in my pockets every day, and you're good to go with a lighting situation. Hey, everybody asks me about surefire. Surefire this, surefire that. Everything's going to be surefire. Surefire, surefire, surefire! You get what you pay for! That's false. I have no problem with Surefire's products. They make a solid product. It's good. You pay a lot for what you get from Surefire. But somebody's got to pay all those overpriced California workers. And frankly, I don't give a shit about California workers, California citizens. So I don't care to help them. But you also got to pay for the back cover of every magazine ever made, because they buy the most expensive advertising in every print magazine that there is. And you know, because print, that's where it's at. So you pay a lot. And the quality, like if it's twice as good, twice as expensive, it's not twice as good as somebody else's. Or as everybody else's, I should say. And generally speaking, when it comes to output, they're generally underpowered. I don't think they do that for cost reasons. I don't know what their logic behind it is. They're never really told me, or I've never seen it in any of their publications, why they choose to be on the back end of power. Like, other people push the power envelope before they do. Don't know why. It doesn't really matter, because they're plenty fucking bright enough. My real beef with them is customer service. If I called their customer service lackluster, it would be giving them a great compliment. The way they deal with customers is so poor, in my opinion, that I feel safer sticking my dick in a junkie hooker than I do giving them a credit card number. So there's my my spiel on Surefire. Don't trust them, and you pay a lot for an underpowered light that probably will never break.